This is Jack, John G. We're going to move on down to James Whitt. Next to Whitt children, they want to say a few words. James doesn't live in Carroll. His wife Maureen and 3 more are Mary's grandchildren.
I would like to say one thing. I left that table. I was smart enough to know that wasn't our table. If you got tired of hearing about political campaigns, you should have heard arguments over Bush between my dad and my mother. I was not particularly enamored of George, and it would really got both ends of the spectrum.
Over here, and about this time we saw this party and Jeff jumped up and said, well, it was nice seeing you all. He turned around and hollered and said, oh, there's Charlie.
Does anybody else want to speak? Proverbs 31, and I'm not going to preach to you. The capable wife. Part of the capable wife means that her children will rise up and bless her. And I'd like to thank all of y'all for having this opportunity to rise up and bless my mother, Mary Whitt. There is something, before I lay down too heavy, Mother, that I do have to tell on you. You Republican women, listen up. Congressman Hall, more than one time, on your behalf, did she split the ticket. Representative Oakley, she didn't do it for you. But she likes you, Keith. That being aside, it means a lot, and I mean this seriously, from the Whitt family that you are here tonight. To everyone else, there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and a lot of people are giving their time and their talent, and the price of the tickets, it's not a fundraiser, they're treasured too, and I thank everyone here. But tonight we can all gather, and if we can't bury the hatchet, we can put it behind our back, at least for tonight anyway, Republicans and Democrats, and for old people too, to move. How are you, sir? Growing up in the house of the Whitts could be a fun time, could be a sad time. Perhaps there was no more sad time than 1964 when, in my heart, I knew he was right. Barry Goldwater suffered an ignominious defeat at the hands of Lyndon Baines Johnson. But there were happy times too, and also I would like to point out that we didn't have a regular childhood. My mother did carry us to the 4 corners of the county, gallivanting around, as been aptly stated, going to various and sundry events. Most children at that time grew up reading primers that says, "See Ted run." I'm not talking about Ted Line. That's what Ted was good. I grew up reading little round campaign buttons that say, "I like Ike." I remember in the 2nd grade, perhaps one of the first times I nearly got in a fight at school, I was arguing with Judy Houston. It was 1960. I don't remember. Please be quiet. 1960. And she had the audacity, the nerve to say that Richard Milhouse Nixon was of all things, a Democrat. If she wasn't a little bit bigger than me, I would have taken a swing at her. But those were different days. Those of you who grew up in those times, the Cuban Missile Crises, we had bomb alerts. We would get under our tables, under our desks, put our hands over our heads like that as if that would help us from a nuclear explosion. There was a night missile base not 2 miles from our house where they would raise missiles twice a day, up and down. They had guard dogs that were probably killers. Soldiers carrying M1s, or I guess it was M1s those days, armed to the teeth with live ammo. Jeff, you know about it. Used to shine flashlights.
Come on, Jay.
I'm not going to tell on Jeff that we tied a kite to a fence one time, floating above the Nike missile base, ran off in the woods, and they turned on their sirens and got their dogs out. I won't tell you anymore. But I did have one concern in the 3rd grade, and I am serious about this matter. There was a time of the nuclear age, and I wondered if President Kennedy would indeed let Republicans like us in the bomb shelter when the big one dropped. Now I got to confess one thing to your mother while I had the podium. 1972, I was this far from voting for Muskie McGovern, but I didn't. I voted for Dick Nixon.
That's not what you told me.
I am thankful, though, to Richard Milhouse Nixon that my bones aren't fertilizing the rice paddies in Southeast Asia. That'd all be mistakes. Nonetheless, she did do a lot of volunteer work, and she did drag us around to a lot of events, but we were the richer for it. We did go a lot of places, see a lot of things, but it was a great time. And really, the only thing that I've got to say tonight, y'all might have already seen through me, but the only thing I'm up here to say is the fact that here's a woman who, like a mother hen, scratched in the dirt, picking around for a few morsels to take back home to her little nestlings so she could look after us and leave the raucous crowing to the proud roosters heralding the new day. But this cock-a-doodle-doo, Mary Whitt, mother, it's for you.